Hey, listen, they about to be mad at me for this one. Trust me, they about to be mad at me for this one. Hey guys, what's up? This is Kelvin and welcome back to my channel where we discuss financial wellness, mindset therapy, and real estate. And in today's video, we're going to cover the top 5 most frequently asked questions about business credit. I'm about to give y'all some free game. So if you're new to business credit and you're unsure how it really works or how to build business credit, or you're brand new, this is the video for you. Stay tuned. As always, shout out to my new subscribers. I really appreciate each and every single one of you guys. And to the people who've been sticking with me for the past few months, you already know how I feel about my riders. Business credit is unlike anything else. The process itself is unique. Imagine this. No matter if you're a Fortune 500 company or a single member LLC with absolutely no employees, you still have to follow the same process to establish your business's business credit. Did you guys know that just 2 years ago in 2019, there were already over 30.7 million small businesses in the United States, which actually accounts for 99.9% of all businesses. We are the they. We small business owners are the ones that are truly out here grinding and evolving the US economy. If you're a small business owner that has not started building business credit, or you have none and don't plan to, trust me, take it from me, you are doing yourself a severe disservice. I've created a playlist on how to build business credit, which will help you learn how to gain access to high limit business credit cards and unsecured loans for your business that do not impact your personal credit scores. Additionally, for a limited time, I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this, but if you click the link down in the description below, you can actually schedule a one-on-one business coaching session with me where I'm going to help you develop a blueprint for success. So if you're interested in having me personally help you get to where you want to be in your business credit journey, go ahead and schedule your coaching session. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Here are the top 5 most frequently asked questions that I'm asked on a daily basis about how to build business credit. So you guys already know the first one has to be, drum roll please, what is PG? Everyone wants to know. If you're brand new to the business credit game, I'm sure if you're watching videos on YouTube, all you see is people talking about no PG, PG, no PG. We're not talking about Paul George or Curious George. We're talking about personal guarantee. So essentially what a personal guarantee is, if your business signs up for a business credit vendor or any other line of credit under your business's name, if you PG, what you're doing is you are personally taking financial responsibility for this business debt. If your business ever becomes unable to pay the debt and you don't pay it, then it's going to show up on your personal credit report. So yes, you heard me correct. If you were to default, meaning your business, on a business debt where you've PG'd, it will be you personally that's held responsible to pay that back. So that's what PG is. Which leads me to the second most frequently asked question about how to build business credit is, when should I PG or should I PG at all? So the first thing I want to go ahead and address head on is this notion that you shouldn't PG under any circumstance, but this is just flat out untrue. If you have good credit, you should PG. You should PG every time, but the only difference is really what you want to consider or what you want to concern yourself with is whether or not it's going to be a hard or a soft pull. So if you don't know, a hard pull is when you apply for a line of credit, credit card, or a loan, and it will give you a hard inquiry on your personal credit report. Now, if it is a soft pull, it means they're going to just take a peek essentially at your credit report, but there will be no evidence. It's not going to create an inquiry on your credit report. So long story short, if you have good credit, you should always PG whenever you have the opportunity to do so without having a hard inquiry. The reason why I say this is because if you PG and when you PG, sometimes not only will you get higher credit limits, but more importantly, you may actually get approved even when your business profile may not be strong enough. Now, on the flip side, if you do have bad credit, the first thing I'm gonna tell you is your number one priority should be cleaning up your personal credit. Now, if you need help with that, I can assist you. Again, down below in the description, there's a link where you can schedule a free credit consultation to talk to me about how we can help you get your credit where it needs to be. Now, if you do have bad credit, you want to avoid PGing in the early stages, but I must make this very clear. You cannot, no, let me not say you cannot. It will be extremely difficult to build business credit without ever PGing. I'm just going to keep it real with you. It will take much longer to build business credit. And then of course, you're going to have slim pickings on the types of vendors that you're going to be approved for. And if you jump the gun, you're going to get a lot more denials than someone who actually is leveraging their credit to get approved. Now, if you're someone who's confident that they could fix their own credit, I would recommend you taking a look at my ebooks. I've made 2 ebooks that are all about DIY, how you can clean up your credit report yourself and do credit repair. Again, the link will be in the description below and you can check those out and purchase those ebooks. Now, the second part of this question is, how do you avoid PGing? Now, there's really 2 main ways, 2 surefire ways to avoid PGing. The first way is to simply pick up the phone and call the lender and apply over the phone versus applying on the application. Because if you're unsure, it's always best to just go ahead and apply over the phone, because when you're talking to the sales rep, you can simply say, hey, I just want to let you know I do not want to PG. And they'll say, it's okay. We are going to ask for your social security number, but it's only going to be for ID verification purposes only. Now, if you do apply online, I want you to get in the habit of looking for the little eye indicator, the little eye emblem that you will see beside most credit card applications where it's asking for your social security number. If you hover your mouse over that eye, not all applications have it, but most do, it will tell you whether or not this is for ID verifications only or if this is to check your credit. So if it says that they are going to check your credit or they're going to retrieve information from your consumer report, that's just a fancy way of saying, yes, we're going to give you a hard inquiry. So just be aware of this when applying online. Now, the third most frequently asked question that I receive about how to build business credit is, how long does it take to build business credit? So the short answer is, realistically, it's going to take about 4 to 6 months. There is no fast road, other than if you have good credit and you leverage your credit, then yes, it's kind of like a shortcut. But realistically, again, 4 to 6 months. Now, most Net 30 vendors that you sign up for take about 30 to 90 days to begin reporting. So during this process, make sure that you do at least make the minimum purchase once a month. So when it does report, you're giving the business vendors something to report, because if you only purchase one item one time over that 3 to 4 month span, then that's not really going to improve your credit scores as much as if you've been using it that whole time. Which leads me to pump and dump. So if you've never heard of pump and dump, it's a common phrase in the business credit world to basically explain what I was just talking about. When you get a Net 30 account or a vendor, just keep in mind you're really purchasing things on their website because you want to use the service they're providing, which is reporting to the business credit bureaus. Now, after you use this vendor for about 4 months, technically you don't need it anymore, especially after you've noticed and after you've verified that this vendor has been reporting to the business credit bureaus for several months. After you've done that, you can just dump that net 30 account and move on to the next one, because unless you just really like their products, there's no reason to continue using that service when you've got what you needed out of it. Squeeze that lemon as much as you can and dump it in the trash can. That's just how I look at it. Now, keeping in mind that the whole purpose you're using these net 30 and other vendor accounts is to build and establish a business credit history, or more specifically, payment history, I do want to recommend that you guys try to get at least 10 vendors reporting to Dun & Bradstreet, and then 5 reporting to Equifax and Experian. Now, the more the merrier, but that should be the minimum. Now, the fourth most frequently asked question that I receive on a daily basis about how to build business credit is, why aren't my vendors reporting? So you may have an issue with impatience, or there may be an error in your business information. So if you've been using a vendor for several months and there's still nothing reporting to the business credit vendor, and you have been informed that this is a vendor that report, because whether you know it or not all vendors report, right? So when you do sign up for a vendor that reports, and after several months, at least after 90 days, if it isn't reporting, you may want to go ahead and contact them to verify what your business information is. Because if you have a business address, for example, that differs from what Dun & Bradstreet sees, what the IRS sees, what the Secretary of State sees, then this could lead to denials. So one thing I want you to do is go ahead and head over to your nav.com or nav app and sign in to the settings, business settings on your nav account, and take a look at the business addresses that you see listed under Dun & Bradstreet, under Equifax Commercial, and under Experian Commercial, and make sure that your address is the same across the board. Now, this same theory applies to all of your business information. Your email must match, your phone number must match, everything else must match across the board, because this could lead to denials. Mismatched data is like one of the number one leading factors behind denials with business credit. So be on the lookout for that. And I would recommend not only just using Nav, I would recommend at least once a quarter to go to each website and get a full copy of your business credit report. Go to Dun & Bradstreet's website, go to Equifax website, go to Experian website. Even if you have to pay for it, it's worth it, because realistically speaking, Nav is behind the ball, or can be behind the ball, when giving you updates. When you sign up for Experian's business credit plan on their website, you get unlimited updates. You don't have to wait every 30 days. You can get an update any and every single day if you want to. So it's really important that you do that. If you do see any misinformation on your business credit reports, then make sure you contact the source and get a correction. All right, because this can improve or become a detriment to your business credit. So you want to make sure all of your information is accurate. If not, make the necessary changes. And last but not least, the fifth most frequently asked question that I receive about business credit and how to build it is, can I use a virtual address? So I can go ahead and nip this in the butt for you guys. The biggest thing I want you to understand is there's a difference between a business address and a business office. So a business address is like an iPostal, where you pay a certain fee per month to have a virtual address, just like it says, except basically all they do is they will, receive your mail, scan it, and then you can log in online and view your mail. That's really all it is. But the business vendors, you don't think they can tell the difference between a virtual address and a real address? So what I would recommend is actually bumping up or upgrading to a virtual office. So a virtual office is not only a virtual address, but it's a real live building that you can reserve office spaces in, or you can have business gatherings. So this is legit. And when you pay for a real virtual office, the business vendors can see that. They can Google your address and they see a building, an actual, glass or whatever building that your business has rented a spot in. All right. And that's way better. Now, the top 3 that I would recommend are actually Regis, Alliance, and Opus. So that'll be Regis.com, Opus virtualoffices.com, and Alliance virtualoffice.com. So that's what you would want to look at if you don't want to use your personal address or you don't have a brick and mortar. So that's it, guys, for this video. If you found anything even remotely helpful for your business, make sure you show your boy some love and drop a like. Make sure you comment and subscribe for more content from me. And as always, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or night. Thanks for watching.